What's up, people? Joe Winko here, your favorite Hawaiian guy, and here's my next episode of Joe Winko Talk. So, before I start out, I just want to say that I usually don't record my episodes of Joe Winko Talk at night. It's like 8 o'clock where I live, and, the reason why is because the artificial lighting in my room is really bad. Right now I have my webcam light on. I'm not using it to film, I'm recording with my iPod Touch, but, the artificial light I have in my room is really bad because I have this lamp off to the side of me that gives off this orangish light. And when the light hits me, it makes my skin look orange. Kinda like, Oompa Loompa Doopa-Dee-Doo, I've got a perfect puzzle for you. Or even, hey girls, let's go to the beach after we're done tanning and look for some really hot Guidos to have on our show, who act really stupid. So, yeah, that's why I don't like the artificial light. So, getting back to the point, what I'm going to be talking about in this episode is, okay, so you guys know how, you guys know about cartoons, like those old ones that used to come on back in the 90s? Well, I used to watch them all the time when I was younger, like on Cartoon Network, and I still watch some of them now, the reruns, because you can find them all on YouTube, like, or on Daily Motion, that YouTube copying site, that YouTube wannabe site, that's the word I'm looking for, and, you know, they were fun to watch back when I was a kid, but they're actually funner to watch when you're grown up, because when you're grown up and watch them, the more you notice how much stupid stuff is going on in them. And one cartoon I really liked watching was a cartoon called Ed, Edd, and Eddy. Now, Ed, Edd, and Eddy was a cartoon about these three boys who all have the same name, but they called themselves Ed, Edd, and Eddy, and what they always tried doing, it took place in this cul-de-sac neighborhood with a bunch of other kids who lived around them. They'd always try setting up these scams, like they'd always try to scam the kids of their allowance money so they can go to the candy store and buy Jawbreakers. They were really obsessed with Jawbreakers, and for those of you who don't know what Jawbreakers are, because you don't really see them that often, even back then you didn't, Jawbreakers are these, they're like hard candy that you suck on, and they get smaller the more you suck on them until you're able to bite them and chew on them and eat them. So, yeah, hope you guys appreciated that input. And the show ran for 10 whole years. It started in the year 1999, and I thought it was really funny. I always loved Ed, Edd, and Eddy, because I've been watching it since I was 3 and 4 years old, and I just grew up watching it, and it was a major part of my childhood. And I want to show you guys here this. This is a clip from Ed, Edd, and Eddy. It's the episode Sir Ed-a-Lot, when the Eds are babysitting Sarah, and Sarah was acting like she was like the queen of all of them. And, yeah, let me show you the clip. Here it is. Check it out.
Bring me my fool!
Okay. Spoiled brat. Please, Eddy, play along. Here's the fool! No way! Huh? Eddy's a great fool! Eddy? I said no!
That was actually one of my favorite episodes, to be honest with you. It first aired, like, back before I started kindergarten, and I remember when I was in kindergarten, we had Medieval Day, and it wasn't on Halloween, but it was Medieval Day, where we dress up as someone from the medieval times, and, I came dressed up. I had a hat, like a jester hat, like the one Eddy wears that has the bells on it, just like that one. I wore it for Medieval Day, and I remember I was only like 4 years old. I was going around telling everyone, and everyone said, "We like your hat, Joe. Cool hat, Joe." And I said, "Thanks, I'm a fool." And then they said, "What are you dressed as?" And I said, "I'm dressed as a fool." And then I remember my adoptive parents, they knew that I was going around telling people that, and they were going like, "Joe, you're a jester, you're not a fool." And I said, "But I am a fool, just like on Ed, Edd, and Eddy." And, we had Medieval Day for twice, well, not like twice in the same school year, but one for K4 and K5, because I was in kindergarten for 2 years, not because I was held back, but because I was in K4 and K5. When you're 4 years old, you spend a year in kindergarten, and when you're 5 years old, you spend another year in kindergarten. Yeah, I hope you guys get that. And we had Medieval Day again with the Jester hat, and I wasn't allowed to wear the Jester hat because I kept going around telling everyone that I was a fool. And I really didn't think that was fair. And I was like, I want to be a fool again. I liked the hats. And they said, no, you're not allowed to wear that this year. And I thought it was so unfair. And, yeah, because they're the ones who are stupid to know that a fool doesn't mean you're just a stupid person. That's what the queens and kings used to call the guy in the jester hat who would entertain them. And, you know, it actually kind of reminds me of one thing. My adoptive parents had this CD by Luther Vandross, and there was a song on it called Don't Want to Be a Fool Again. And, let me play it right now. I have it right here.
I was sure tonight that she was a friend. I stayed till the end.
Just a bunch of heartbroken, lovey-dovey stuff. Let me skip to the point. What is it? 118? Okay. 118... Alright, here.
So I'll stay to the end. I just don't wanna be a fool. Don't wanna be a fool. And I don't wanna be a fool ever again.
Okay, so he said don't want to be a fool again. But I don't think he meant the same type of fool I was talking about, like jester hats, juggling in front of the king and queen to entertain them. So, yeah. Gosh, I have such a weird mind. But, there was also another movie that came out in the year 1999, and it was called Jawbreaker. It was about these 4 women who were in their mid-20s who were pretending to be high school students. Oh wait, no, actually they were supposed to be high school students, but they were they were being played by women in their mid-20s, and it was actually a really good movie. It was like dark comedy and everything, and what it was these 3 high school girls, they're like these popular, stuck-up and snobby girls in high school. Hopefully you guys know what I mean by that. And they tried playing a prank on one of their other popular friends. They tie her up and they kidnap her, and they shove a jawbreaker in her mouth to gag her, and they shove her in the backseat of their car and they drive away. And then when they open the car up, they find out that she's dead and she's suffocated to death on the jawbreaker. I know that sounds horrible, but the movie is actually really funny because it's dark comedy. And then they just do... I'm not going to spoil too much about it, but they do all this bad stuff and this really shallow stuff to cover it up because they don't want to get in trouble at all. And I love the movie because it really shows how shallow high school girls, like the popular high school girls, can be. Not saying that all of them are like that, because some of them are really nice, but in this movie they were really mean, and the ones I met were really mean. And there's one thing I noticed about Jawbreaker and Eddy. The characters from Jawbreaker and the characters from Eddy are actually really similar to each other. Like, you have the selfish leader who's the leader of the whole group, and Eddy, that was Eddy. He was really selfish, only cared about himself, cared about scamming kids of their money and getting jawbreakers for himself. But also, in the movie Jawbreaker, you had the character Courtney, who was played by Rose McGowan, and she was really selfish. She hated the girl who they killed, and she only cared about being the most popular girl in school, wanted to be better than everyone else, and was more popular than everyone else. And she was really selfish, too. And then there was also the really stupid and brainless character from Eddy, Ed. But in the movie Jawbreaker, the stupid and brainless character was Foxy. Now, they're a little different from each other, because Foxy was more of like the dumb blonde type. Well, no offense to anyone who's blonde, but she was like they made her the stereotypical dumb blonde girl who was like really stupid about stuff, and Ed was really stupid too, but he only cared about horror movies and everything, kind of like I do, but except Ed was like really stupid. And, yeah, they are similar. And then last, there's the one good character of the group in Eddy, Double D. he was a really smart and scientific one who always talked in a big vocabulary. But then there was also, in Jawbreaker, Julie, the other one who was, well, I'm not sure if she was really smart and scientific, but she was the only caring one out of the group, and she was pretty smart compared to all three of them. And she wanted to tell the truth that they accidentally murdered their friend, but they wouldn't let her do it. They wanted it to be a cover-up. So, yeah, but she was the only nicest one in the group. And also, one big similarity between both of these movies is that they both focused on jawbreakers. And I just thought it was kind of funny how they were, like, tied together like that, because they used the jawbreaker to kill their best friend. They shoved it in her mouth, and it poked out of her throat, and it suffocated her to death, and she died. And in Edda and Eddy, they're always trying to buy jawbreakers and always trying to eat jawbreakers. So I just thought it was funny how they had that connection between them. So, yeah, so comment and share your thoughts on that. And getting back to what's going on my YouTube channel, like I read that some people were typing in that I retired and that I stopped making Sims 2 videos, and I'm like, are you guys insane? Of course I wouldn't retire. So, I'm way too young for that anyway. I have a new horror movie on the way, by the way, and it's called Scare Town, and it's about the Elijah Lamb story. I mentioned this before, but what happens in Scare Town is it takes place 2.5 years after Elijah Lamb, and what happens is I, myself, or I'm going to talk in third person. There's this boy named Joe Winko who makes these videos for YouTube in the movie, and I always put myself as a character in all my movies, but this time he is decked out in the classic, typical Joe Winko look. See, like even the cape and everything. The cape, the bandana, and the wristbands, but even the cape and everything. So he goes to Scare Town with his movie camera, and Scare Town is the Cecil Hotel, that's what they call it in the movie. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to figure out what happened to Elijah Lamb and see if the hotel is really haunted, and trying to catch everything on camera. That's exactly what I would do in real life. But he goes to the Cecil Hotel to tell if it's really haunted, and a bunch of bad stuff starts happening at the Cecil Hotel. He finds out that the hotel is actually haunted by this psychopath serial killer who's a ghost who's killing everyone who's staying at the hotel, and he has to escape before he gets killed too. So yeah, and here's a sneak peek clip from Scare Town of what's gonna happen in it. Well, it's just a clip from Scare Town. I'm gonna play it for you guys. So here it is. Check it out. Ooh, scary. Right now, I'm in the Cecil Hotel stair hallway, which leads to the rooftop. Elijah Lamb apparently gained access by going through this door, where she somehow drowned in the hotel's water tank. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that, and it's on its way, so be on the lookout for it. I'm not really that much done with it yet. I'm still looking for voice actors, but in the old casting call video I have posted, some of those parts are already taken, so I'll have a link in the description to the characters who are open, the post I made on Voice Acting Alliance for it. So you guys can all audition if you want to. And I actually did do an episode of Joe Winko talk about Elijah Lamb, and I'll have an annotation for that listed somewhere so you guys can click on it, so you guys can watch that if you haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, so that's basically it. So, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, and share your thoughts on everything I talked about in this video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And don't forget to like my fan page on Facebook. I'm serious, people. Do not forget to like it. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter, too. I really don't use Twitter that often. I don't like Twitter because you have to... Because with all the tweets, they have like a certain number of letters you can type in each tweet. Like you can't make the... Or tweet... What the hell am I saying? Tweet. So you can't really make them that long. So that's why I don't like Twitter. So... But you can follow me on there anyway. I don't really post that much stuff there. So don't forget to like me on Facebook too. So yeah, don't forget to do all that, and that's basically it. So peace out, people.
gave my heart an engagement ring.